Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. All right, today's film review on the Denver Broncos is with the New York Jets. And basically what me and Colby had said in our post game, the accuracy of it, I'm going to put that in the context of both the film and the series some of the series that the Broncos, did during that game, which reinforces what we're saying. I also want to use this to dispel this absurd notion of bringing Shurmur in. And just a little side note, talking with my Saints friend with the Saints there, Eddie, I'm told that Sean Payton is actually still under contract and that if any team is going to pick him up, and I'm not sure how long that goes, if it's this year or also into next year, but he's still under contract, and any team that picks him up, or they're going to have to give up some draft picks. Guess what, Broncos? You don't have any. So I don't see that happening. But what this film is going to show is classic Shurmur ball at its best. So in my opinion, Shurmur was never a Fangio pick. He was hired to be a defensive coordinator, and Elway, behind closed doors, behind the onion layers, was quarterbacking the offense. He brought Shurmur in, and I can guarantee you this whole Shurmur idea that's being floated out by Elway's posse out there, the media posse, is coming from that outside consulting area. It's an absurd notion. It's if you want to even get worse, bring Shurmur in. Okay, before I really get into the Broncos, I just want to make a quick note on Zach Wilson, and that's, I said I'm not really all that impressed by him at this point. Work in progress. I just want to reiterate on that really quick because he opens up, the Jets open up with a downtown throw that really should have been a big play. All right, so we have Surtain on the outside receiver. I don't know the receiver's name, doesn't really matter. But if you look at the cushion that he's given this receiver, this should be any competent quarterback, and you can name them, you can name anyone you want, but this is an easy read. With this kind of cushion, this kind of real estate, this should be a completion for a big play right off the bat. And Zach Wilson, it just absolutely doesn't see it, but it's there. So, I mean, Zach Wilson's got to understand that and see that. But, and I'm just trying to make a point, too, that, if the Broncos actually play a competent quarterback, I just think it's going to be a little bit different on the defensive side than they're used to seeing. That should have been a completion for a huge play. All right, in the last play, I showed Zach Wilson missing a wide-open receiver. But something that's even more important is that there was edge rushing with that play, but there was no push up the middle. Now, in this play, you get what we call the classic push up the middle. You get, maybe it's Draymond Jones. You have an interior lineman not even touched as a free runner, but it's still nonetheless push up the middle. Blows this play up completely. He pushes the quarterback beyond the edge rushing, but this play's dead. I mean, he's a free runner, but I mean, even if you're pushing the offensive lineman back into the quarterback's face, he ain't going to go back that far, and he's going to have to run one way or the other, but he'll run into the edge rushing. Edge rushing really, really works well when you have that interior push up the middle. I mean, we just preach that all the time. And here I just want to show you, here you have a running back who doesn't even bother to even put a chip block on he just gets out of his way so he can come in. And I'm just going to say in football, when it comes to coaching, it's not about turning your players into robots. They have to be also independent thinkers out there. There has to be some mandatory ad lib out there. If you see space, and it may not be the route, you may want to sit right get into the space. If you see a free runner come, okay, maybe it's not your assignment to block him, but you got to use some common sense. Your quarterback's going to get killed. You got to throw a block, even though, no, you weren't assigned that. I mean, coaching has to have some flexibility to it, and the players have to be able to, think and understand certain situations. I mean, if really offense really is supposed to be My opinion is making the quarterback's job as easy as possible, even if it means ad-libbing some routes. If you see space, as a receiver, hit the space. At least have one guy hit the space. All right, I just want to show the difference between Shurmur ball versus Hackett ball. This touchdown series was actually a product of really good running plays to get to this point that I'm showing you now. We're not just trying to throw bombs to the end zone. We had a commenter come on, one of our detractors from old.
The LA Chargers had the best offense. They're a really good offense.
Well, yes and no. They really didn't have their full offense out there because they had quite a few injuries, so that's not really true when the Broncos played them. And even with all the injuries, I think it's very important to point out that they had no problem moving the ball on the Broncos, either running it or throwing it.
It makes my point, see?
No, it makes the point that the offense or the defense for the Broncos isn't really as good as it's advertised because, and I'm going to make the point here, they also got into Shurmur ball once they got in towards the red zone. They just wanted to hit bombs into the end zone instead of doing exactly what got them down the field. They got away from that, and repeatedly they got away from that. And I just don't understand coaching, and I know there's a push at the front office to bring in Pat Shurmur, which is so stupid because that was always John Elway's pick. I was never Fangio's guy. And I want to show you the difference. If you can check this touchdown series out, successful, really key running plays. So now they finally, after working their way down, they want to take a shot at the end zone, Shurmur ball. Now, he does have a guy open, and I don't know I think the ball gets out of his hand, and it's just kind of a womp, womp, womp pass in between Dulcich and what I believe the intended receiver, the guy in the end zone, who with the proper throw, I think this connects, and that's great. But the point is, you just don't keep going back at it. Here we have Rippon connecting with Judy, and he's not trying to go down to the end zone. He's just trying to pick up the first down, which he does. It was a good little ad-lib play by the quarterback. See, I'm a believer that it's not just the quarterback. Sometimes it has to ad-lib. Judy runs a good route, but they're giving him all kinds of because they're expecting a bomb to the end zone. So they gave Judy a lot of space because they're expecting him to go to the end zone. But that's not what happens. He does a little curl route. Now, instead of going for the end zone, they're now down at the 3-yard line, thanks to just working it down there, and they just run it, and it's just really a walk-in touchdown. But they needed to do more of this. And I don't believe in Shurmur ball where you try to go for the end zone. I don't know they'll do it with Russell Wilson each and every time instead of working their way down there like we just saw on this drive. This is classic Hackett type ball. And I don't mind they took a shot at the end zone, a shot, but just don't do like the Chargers did and the Broncos did in that game, repeatedly trying to hit the end zone. Matter of fact, the reason Judy got that first down, the fact they they watched it on tape over and over again. He thought for sure he was going to go to the end zone because that's what they do. That's Shurmur ball. Just keep trying to drop bombs into that end zone. So I think this is the way they should go moving forward. But that's me. I'm not the guy up with the biggest office calling himself an outside consultant. I just want to explain something that I was talking with Colby at the post game on the Denver Broncos about the Jets being able to shut the run down. Again, this is kind of why bringing in Pat Shurmur isn't going to solve your problem. And I think Pat Shurmur had any success, it was because they had Mike Munchak, and last year they could run the ball. And I mentioned in their touchdown series, they had some really good runs that was complementing their passing. And I just want to show this real quick, that the sequence here, it's a field goal. It could have been a touchdown. 9-yard pass, that's great. 3-yard run, not bad. 45-yard pass, that's definitely Shurmur ball. That's great. and pass incomplete, that happens. Only a 2-yard run, then you get a 5-yard penalty, not the end of the world. 1-yard run, you can't be having those kind of things. Well, we made up for it on a 13-yard pass, but we only have a 2-yard run, and now we got a negative 5-yard penalty. Again, not the end of the world. Pass incomplete. Okay, now we're going into pass happy, pass incomplete, negative 2-yard pass. So, I think it's clear if they want to bring in Shurmur. I just want to make this point. Shurmur, we got rid of the running backs coach. We got rid of Mike Munchak, who was really, I think, instrumental in the Broncos' running success, not just the players, but the running success of the players because of the running backs, because I think he really used concepts that really helped the Broncos' running game. The rest of the game, I think we're in the second quarter here, this series. The Broncos are kicking field goals, but they were shut down for the rest of the game. So this isn't about bringing in Shurmur. I think actually Colby had more of a pulse on it. I think if they brought Munchak back, they'd be in a lot better shape because this running game has just really gone south. Jets just really shutting it down. And if the Broncos can't get a running game going, I don't care if Russell Wilson's there or not. This team isn't going to go anywhere. And there's a question that remains. Will the Broncos really be able to win another game? That's a damn good question. Okie dokie. Here we are at the start of the third quarter, and I just wanted to bring everybody's attention to this. This is classic Shurmur ball here. There's not even one attempt to make a run. So basically, the Broncos have shut their own running game down. The start of the third quarter, kickoff to the Broncos, a touchback, pass incomplete, 7-yard pass, another pass incomplete, another pass, punt. What are you doing here? Again, you can't just pass your way out. This isn't, Tom Brady back there and who basically throws a lot of 5, 6, 7-yard passes, which kind of axes the running, but this, you got to have kind of a balance here, but they've just abandoned the run completely. Just a clear-cut example of it. All those that are screaming about Hackett, you need to tune all that out right now. You need to tune it out right now because what I've been trying to explain to you, these offensive, they abandoning what works, getting into pass happy, taking the getting into the red zone and going Shurmur ball, throw it deep into the end zone, instead of working your way up to the end zone, all that. This kind of mentality has well predated Hackett. This goes far beyond Hackett. There's one thread. This problem that the Denver Broncos have with their offense, quite frankly, goes all the way back to Trevor Siemian, not the quarterback. And we've been, here at Mile High View and now Shadowban, and a number of fans are starting to get it now. There's a thread, and it's in the front office. And it's been the same, and it's been there, and all of this has been here and going on since Trevor Siemian was there, since they ran out Gary Kubiak. There's been a thread that's always been there. They want to go. To me, the problem is not it's getting Shurmur. The problem is people that want to get Shurmur at Dove Valley. That's where the problem is. Just take a look at this coach, the way they set this up, and believe me, Hackett, if you think he had any say coming in, if you even think George Payton had any say coming in, the outside consultant with the largest office at Dove Valley, structured, look how this is structured. You got a head coach. You don't have an offensive coordinator. You got an assistant to the head coach. You got a football strategy analyst, senior assistant, whatever that means. You have a offensive quality control. What I'm getting at it, you don't even have an offensive coordinator. You just got all this junk in here. It's like cooks in the kitchen. And you think that just bringing in Shurmur and making the same mistakes and playing Shurmur ball is the answer here? This is not going to get fixed until people realize that front office from the consultant that the outside consultant in his office there, who doesn't somehow exist, that and all this riffraff goes. And we start simplifying this and do it in a logical way, the way all these good teams are doing it, without all this Mickey Mouse crap. All right, I talk about the thread offensively in play design that we've seen, and honestly, going back to Mike McCoy, Bill Musgrave, Shurmur, I mean, this is the kind of bullshit that I'm talking about. This play just screams it. You have 3 receivers going on a go route and 2 receivers going on what I call a no route. I mean, this just totally makes no sense. And again, like, this is the shit that I've seen. It's not just there's a mindset going on at the Broncos. I don't know what, you can't get rid of it, no matter who the coach is. So why not have the 2 receivers that are going on these, at least 2 of the receivers going on the go route, stop at the sticks and turn around, and then the 2 that they have doing the no route, and I don't even get this, down below, have them go up by the sticks in front of the middle linebacker. That means that little linebacker has to take somebody, but don't bunch everybody. Like they have, like in the no route, they're crossing each other. It makes no sense. They don't have that kind of time. They, just send everybody out to where the sticks are. You have time for that, and then let the quarterback decide who he's going to decide who has who. He's got time to decide this, but this whole thing doesn't make sense. They go way past the first down marker. I just don't get this. And then they also cross with each other. They like run into each other and duplicate. It just doesn't make any sense. You're just trying to find, who the free guy is. Send everybody to either just behind the sticks or just in front of the sticks. Somebody's going to have to, they aren't going to be able to cover everybody. Somebody's going to be open. But that's just too easy, I guess too hard of a concept for a professional coaching staff. It just makes no fucking sense. Okay, now here's a crossing route that actually makes sense if you're going to throw the ball, which is fine. But I'd try to sell the run a little bit more on this, but, that's just me. But here we have Courtland Sutton, and I'm not sure who the other receiver is, but this is the 2 receivers basically crisscrossing each other. And this is where it works, where it makes sense. It's, since you're at 3rd and 1, you just send him a little bit past the yard marker, tie him up. There we go, tie him up, and then he's wide open. And the quarterback is seemingly looking right at him, but says, nope, I don't trust myself. Now, I think this is Russell Wilson. This is a completion. I'll say that because for the fact that Courtland Sutton is Wilson's favorite receiver. However, Rippon doesn't have the wherewithal, so he throws to a player who's double covered and 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, because that makes total fucking sense. And that just, it's time to punt. When you can't execute, that's time to punt. But he had Courtland Sutton all the way on this, was even looking at him. So, but I'm just trying to say that if it's not the coaching staff doing things that you want to scratch your head, then it's player breakdowns. And while I think Russell Wilson would have made this completion, there's plays that he would not have seen he wouldn't have seen the player. So that's what I'm saying. Firing a coach is not, there's so many problems. Firing a coach I don't know. You've got 3 holes in a bucket, so you want to tear the whole bottom of the bucket. I don't know. There's nothing at Dove Valley that makes any sense.
Come in my office, Brett. We got to talk. Brett, I can't have you winning the game.
Hey, I was joking around about John Elway, the outside consultant with the biggest office at Dove Valley, bringing in Brett Rippon, telling him, whatever you do, we can't win the game. Can't win the game. And when you watch the film, you kind of wonder, is there some truth to that? here's the thing. You got everybody yelling about Hackett and, oh my God, that's going to change everything, getting rid of him. And I explained the alphabet soup fucking coaching wheel, whatever it is that they have at Dove Valley internally. And, you know, let's be honest, you have a better chance of watching the sun rise in the West than you do bringing in Sean Payton. I mean, I think everybody now is not going to get hoodwinked into going to Denver. Sean Payton is not, but you know, then he's got his contract with the Saints, but he sure as hell ain't going to come and try to straighten this mess out. I don't think that any coach worth their salt wants to touch the Broncos with a 10-yard pole. At any rate, let's go on. And this last play here absolutely screams,
Gotta lose the game, Russ. Gotta lose the game.
This absolutely, if the last play a couple plays ago I showed doesn't scream what we've seen since Mike McCoy, this is Shurmur. I mean, this has Shurmur all over it. Yes, 4th and 1, game's on the line.
Can't win it. Can't win it. Can't win it. Don't do it.
That's right. I got Shurmur on the phone here. We won't. Don't worry. We'll just go back to our bag of old tricks that never work. It's 4th and 1. All we have to do is kind of do that last play that we just saw, but actually execute it or run the football. We could do any number of things. 4th and 1. What are we going to do? Oh, hold on. I'm on the phone with Shurmur. Oh yeah, let's throw a bomb into the end zone. Wah 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 wah. So go ahead and fire Hackett. I mean, wash, rinse, repeat. Go ahead. Who the hell is going to come here, and how are things going to change? You know, and I know, Rob Walton's got to clean all that riffraff out. You know, Hackett, Payton, Elway for sure. That no more insider, outsider, consultant. That's all got. That's the big one. And then hopefully, the race car driver, Condoleezza Rice, Penner, and Walton can, you know, have a nice little wine and cheese event and try to figure out what name. You know, then you may actually get a shot at Sean Payton. You know, then you may, but not until all that riffraff is out of Dove Valley are you ever going to change anything. Russell Wilson, you know, he just keeps tearing himself up, and you know, are they going to just play him until he's never really quite the same? You know, that would be the final swan song, in my opinion, of John Elway's tenure with the Denver Broncos. Yes, and as the outsider, insider, consultant himself, John Elway, just recently said, I crashed my team into the bridge. I watched, I let it burn. AFC West don't care. They love it. They love it.